Hi, my name is Vern Harvey. I am the chair of the board of Kairos Prison Ministry, and I want to encourage you to come to the National Conference in October. The conference in Maroochydore on the Sunshine Coast is our third attempt since the 2019 conference to bring Kairos volunteers together for fellowship, learning, and exchange between the volunteers at the coalface in the regions responsible for delivering our programs, that's you, and those of us in the central functions responsible for providing support to the regions and planning for the future. That's us. Let me tell you more about what we will be doing at the conference. The theme for this conference is Keys to the Future, a post-COVID future, but more importantly, a future after almost 3 years when most of us have not been engaged with a weekend or swap meeting, or a short course or journey program, or shared with those we have been called to serve. We planned this conference to be a turning point in the history of Kairos in Australia. Remember our motto for our 5-year plan? Reliance on God in all things, recruit and rebuild. The keys to our future rest in all three, and the conference addresses all three in the context of rebuilding this wonderful ministry through the regions, laying the foundations for another decade of strong growth. The past 3 years have been hard on many of us, and weaknesses have been exposed. But they've also been an opportunity to review all aspects of the ministry and rebuild not only all the good things we have, but to think clearly about the future needs of the ministry and ensure we are future ready. In addition to the fun and fellowship of sharing with colleagues from other areas of the ministry, the presentations and workshops at the conference will fall into two broad themes. The main focus will be on strategies for regional growth and development. The other theme, which logically follows, is a new approach to governance and structure at the centre designed to better support the regions in the states. To get regions growing again, we need to rebuild some of the firm foundations. First, we need to give more attention to the health of the non-program side of the ministry. In a strategic review by directors in February this year, we discovered most of our weaknesses were not in the program side of our operations, but in the administrative structure and areas supporting regions. These weaknesses are manifested in the shortage of leaders for regional committees and state councils, as well as the board, as well as volunteers prepared to work as members on committees supporting those areas. For example, program coordinators. In the pre-COVID era, while we were focused on running courses and weekends, we paid little attention to development in these administrative areas, and we're affected by that now. New efforts will be made in training and online support to encourage volunteers into administrative roles for a time being, and recognise these as vitally important ministry callings. This new focus does not detract from the program and compliance side, far from it, just be in addition to it. The second element is a focus on the specific needs of each region. Post-COVID, the ministry ranges from regions who have survived well to those who are struggling and those who are in between. The Ministry Growth Group has already commenced work in this area, providing directed support to a region's needs. Our response needs to be tailored to each region's needs over time. The third element is provision of modern, industry-standard systems support. It has been our desire for some time to replace the VMS software, but only in the last 2 years have we had the resources and the funds to do so. Software is always improving and is now easily integrated with a range of activities. It is also able to interface seamlessly with our website and other applications. Our goals for the new database and software include creating a powerful database where all the ministry data needed for efficient operation at all levels can be stored and accessed. Also, making the administration of regions and states simpler, quicker, and more effective, and simplifying and speeding up regional administrative processes. The goals for the software also include integrating the database with an updated and modernised new website. Also, providing a simpler and stronger support for regions in volunteer recruitment and reporting. And finally, providing a simple connection to Ezra for short course and weekend management. This is a pretty broad range of goals, and the achievement of all this will take time, but we are well confident now we are on the right track. Our chosen partner is VegaWorks, and the CEO of VegaWorks will be present at the conference and present in our workshops. There will also be follow-up workshops with our internal project team, who will be available to explain progress and answer questions. Our goal in all these changes is to support regions. That is, support regions to maximise the number of people who hear the message we have been called to give. The second theme of the conference is a new approach to governance and structure at the centre, ensuring we are providing the best support we can to the regions. I need to give a little bit of history here to give a bit of background to this change. Regional committees are the bedrock of the ministry. They recruit, train and manage volunteers and run short courses and weekends using the manuals provided from KPMA under a licence agreement. The governance of the ministry in Australia is provided by a company called Kairos Prison Ministry Australia. The company has a board of directors, virtually all of whom are experienced long-term KI and KO volunteers, and I am the current executive chair. The traditional governance approach has been a board, chair, CEO, hierarchical structure, which worked well over our first decade, but has been difficult to achieve in more recent years. Directors believe a better approach for our future needs is a more collegiate, flexible, project-oriented approach designed to respond to the strategic needs of regions, while still meeting the legislative requirements of corporations law. The context of Kairos here is important. We are a small, complex, Christian, volunteer-based ministry. The major determinant of our governance structure is a supply of people at the right time, with the right skills and availability for the governance roles in the centre. Directors also believe God will provide the resources necessary for his purposes for the ministry at the appropriate time. And our structure needs to recognise that. In short, the management structure at any time should be responsive, not fixed. With the onset of COVID, we moved to leadership by an executive chair, that is, combined roles of the chair of the board and the CEO of the company. The need for such leadership has now passed, and at the conference, there will be a formal handover of many responsibilities from the current executive chair to a chief operating officer, whose role is focused solely on support for the regions. The primary tasks of the chief operating officer are to achieve a return to programs as quickly as possible, to achieve the maximum number of people who hear the message we are being called to give, and to ensure every region is having their specific needs met, whatever their stage of development post-COVID. This handover of responsibilities will take place officially on Friday night at the conference. Now, there's not enough time now to describe the rest of that chart, but I'll be available at the conference if there is anyone who would like to know more about that structure. The key sessions and workshops at the conference are under the control of the Chief Operating Officer and directed to regions' needs. They include a forum for Kairos outside volunteers, one for Kairos inside volunteers, a forum for Torch volunteers to explore what is next for Torch in Australia, workshops on recruitment of volunteers and KO guests, presentations and workshops on the new ministry database, and presentations and workshop on the new website. The contents of these sessions is still being worked out, and a detailed program will be released soon once we get the details confirmed. It would be great if all regions were represented at the conference. Registration forms and other details are available on the Kairos website and have been sent out in occasional newsletters numbers 34 and 35. Please come and join us in the challenge to get this great ministry up and growing again, for the next decade. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. I really do hope to see you at the conference. God bless.